Hey there everyone, this is Dr. Samantha Sweeney and this is Just for Fun Friday, your weekly dose of how to infuse diversity into your life and the life of your kids. So I have some art projects back here, if you can see some art supplies, some markers and crayons and stuff like that. I actually run a therapy business here in Washington, D.C. And one of the things I really like to do with a lot of the kids that I work with is art projects because it makes things more fun. Obviously. And it has, a lot of therapeutic value as well. So that's something that I've really enjoyed doing. And then oftentimes the kids really enjoy doing it too. And it got me to thinking, one of the things that I like to do, depending on the situation, obviously, but one of the things that I like to do is to make kind of stories and books and that kind of thing. And telling a story of kind of what's going on in your life or something similar to that. Anyway, it got me thinking about some of the books that I've read to my children over the course of their life. And one particular book that, for some reason, I think it's because this particular book is just so colorful and like the illustrations are really kind of vivid and the people within the book are really vivid. I don't know, for some reason I just started thinking about when I was doing this art stuff, it started to get me thinking about this particular book. So it made me want to share it with you because it really is a special book and it actually holds a very special place in my heart. And I'll explain why in a little bit. So in terms of the age range, this book is for all ages. Whatever, I don't care what Amazon says. I didn't even have to look that up because it doesn't matter. It's for all ages. Let me tell you why I know it's for all ages is because this particular book, I read it with my son, who was my firstborn. This was like the book. We had two books that we read every single night, and this was one of them. And it's called 10 Little Fingers, 10 Little Toes, and it's by Mem Fox and Helen Oxenberry. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. So it is a book that, first of all, it's a rhyming book, and that is just, the sing-song quality of that is just so great for all kids, but especially like the really little ones who in trying to remember things that are kind of take place in like a sing-songy poetry rhyming kind of way make it a lot easier for kids to actually remember what they're hearing. And so it's a great book and rhyming books in general are so great for little ones. And so it's part of the reason it was one of the books that I chose for my son when I was deciding, what book am I going to read to him that's just really special that I want to read all the time. And this was one of them. And so what it basically is a book about how there are children kind of throughout the world who are doing different things and are wearing different things, and the way that their clothing, the clothing that they wear and the different things that they do, they change depending on kind of where you are in the world, and how you look changes depending on where you are in the world. But all kids have 10 little fingers and 10 little toes. And I just think that's such a fantastic thing to share with kids, is that, no matter how different we may look on the outside or sound or, even think, there are commonalities among all of us. And of course, there are some children who have disabilities who maybe don't have 10 little fingers and 10 little toes, but there's still commonalities. And I think that message is just really, really special and really resonates with kids. And it's such a sweet book. It has so many different kids there. There are kids who are Black, there are kids who are Asian, there are kids who are white and blonde, there are kids who are kind of have brown hair and maybe a little bit more olive skinned. There's just such a huge range of these like adorable kind of chubby rolling around babies that it's just so linguistically appealing, and it's also really visually appealing for both you, the parent, and for the kid, which makes it more fun to read. Who wants to read a book that you're like, oh, I mean, I think we all as parents had that one book where we're like, please, I can't read that book another time. I know it's a good book and I know you love it, but I can't read another time. And I tell you, I read this book probably about every night for maybe the first year and a half of my son's life, and I never got sick of it. I always completely loved it. So I think that's really important too, to pick a book that you as a parent really, really enjoy to read and really want to share with your child, and teaches them about diversity too. So on all of our Just for Fun items, we rate them on a scale of 0 to 5. You already know what I'm going to say. It's a 5. I mean, it just is. It's just such a sweet book. It's a book in general because, I'm a nerd and I love books. And it's just phenomenal. And you will love it as a parent. Your child will love it. And it's just a great way to introduce oh, look, people are just different. They live in different parts of the world and they experience different things, but we all share certain things together. So head on over to the website, www.culturallycompetentkids.com, where you'll get a quick one-page guide of everything we just talked about today. So the age range, some of the different diversity themes, some questions and comments to ask your child as you're reading this along. Even when they're really little, you can still like make little like comments and stuff like that. And also ways to continue the conversation, because once they get older and you start talking about diversity even more, there are more things to say, right? So there are ways to continue the conversation with this book as well. So I hope you pick it up and I hope you really enjoy it, and I'll see you next week on another Just for Fun Friday. Thanks for joining us for another Just for Fun Friday. I hope that you enjoyed it and that it inspired you to go out there this weekend and have even more fun with your kids. I've created something that I'm really excited to share with you and I think you're really going to love. I've compiled this amazing book list of all different diverse books. It has different characters, different storylines, and I think you're really going to love it. It's for kids of all ages, from babies, yes babies, all the way up to young adults. So in order to get it, go to www.culturallycompetentkids.com. Sign up for the newsletter and it'll be sent straight to you right away, right to your inbox. You can use it for all sorts of things. You can use it for learning time, you can use it for literacy time, or just fun snuggle time with your kids. So sign up, enjoy it, and I'll see you next week for another Just for Fun Friday.